This is NFL Chaos with Jeremy. I am Jeremy, and I bring the chaos. Welcome to this week's State of Jets Nation. And we're going to talk about Denzel MIMS because we haven't spoken about him enough. No, not even close. We still have to talk more about Denzel MIMS. Jet fans are a funny thing. About a year ago, we were all excited. We thought that he was going to be one of our key wide receivers, and things didn't work out last year for Denzel MIMS, as we all know. Just to recap, he ate some bad salmon, and he got food poisoning. It happens. It's unfortunate. It stinks. Now, people don't understand, like, when you have food poisoning, like real food poisoning, you're really, really sick. That means your fever, throwing up, your body weakens. Okay, and Denzel MIMS is a professional athlete, so he can't afford his body to weaken. Okay, that's a terrible, terrible thing to have to happen when you're going into a camp, specifically a camp that has new coaching, right? So a completely new system. You're supposed to be focused on learning the system, training, and everything. And here you are. It was your first full off season. You vacationed after your rookie year. You did the things that you thought you get to do when you're a football player. You have time off. You relax. You had crappy coaching, was fired. There was no one probably watching over or giving any real guidance. And he did what I think a lot of players, as they become veterans, do. He took some time off. He relaxed. He had time off. Yay, cool. And he comes back and he gets sick right away. So now he's not in shape. He has a system that's brand new, and he's super, super ill. So much of the fact where he loses 20 pounds. And, you think 20 pounds, like if I lost 20 pounds is a good thing. Lost 20 pounds of fat. Yay. When you're lean and strong and you lose 20 pounds, that means 20 pounds of muscle, or a lot of those pounds are muscle. It's very hard to get those back. I don't know if anybody's ever been solid muscle. I haven't, then lost it and tried to get it back, but it's a big deal. And it's really hard to do that at the same time as trying to get back to NFL level playing, learning a new system. So, and I'm not trying to make excuses for him. I'm just talking about facts. I'm saying it's a little bit, he probably didn't, we know he didn't because of what they're saying he's doing this year. Last year, he did not go right to a trainer. Last year, he did not go and to a coach of route running, which he did this year. He's working on route running and working on learning the system. He didn't get to meet the quarterback he'd be playing with and actually have a workout with the other receivers on the team. So he didn't have all those things. It's just a reality. And then he got sick and he lost 20 pounds of muscle. A professional athlete losing 20 pounds of muscle. He's probably weak when he went into camp, and he finally started working and learning the system, right? So he wasn't ready. It put him in a bad place with the coaches, whatever. He didn't connect with them right away. Nothing went right for this guy. And it was an awful way to start the season for him. Then he gets going. They're starting to come on and like him, right? Because like him, but they're starting to appreciate his work ethic because they're calling it out. They're all saying he's working hard. He's working really hard. He's making progress. They're saying that. I don't know why people are reading into that and thinking that it's not true or it's worse than it is, or why we accuse them of lying when they say things like that. They were not indicating that it was a work thing or that he was still out of shape or needed to do this or needed to do that. They simply said he's working hard. We're happy with how hard he's working. After a few weeks, he finally got put on the roster. He finally started to get a little bit of playing time, getting his feet wet. He didn't do anything spectacular. He didn't not do anything spectacular. And then he gets COVID. And then he's out for 3 weeks again. And by now, think about the mental part of this for him, right? He's this young guy, had a good rookie year, did some good things. He's ready to take the next step and explode. And now here he is, and we're going into games 11, 12 of the season by this point. And he is not a factor in the team. Everything's went wrong for him. And you saw it on the field. He was He just had no psychology for the game of football. Two penalties, drop passes, a drop ball in the end zone. Everything fell apart for Denzel Mims. There's no question about this, right? And there's no such thing as excuses. Well, things happen for a reason. It doesn't. It's an expression I never understood. So, well, people, you just making excuses. Well, excuses could be just real reasons. It doesn't mean that another person wouldn't have overcome those challenges and been better. But everybody has to look inside themselves and be honest about the fact, have you ever been challenged like that? Do you know for a fact that you personally would have been able to overcome that? I mean, it's not an easy system. And I'm not saying that, oh, we should just forget it happened and go into like back to last year's mentality and think to ourselves, Denzel Mims is going to be a WR1 for us eventually, and that he's a big part of this team. We have to change our expectations, of course. But a lot of people calling for his head and said, trade him, trade him, trade him, cut him. Cut him. He cost us nothing. We drafted him in the second round. It's the third year of his contract. People want to cut him. Well, why would you cut him? Why? Why would you cut him now? Why wouldn't you let him come to camp and see what happens now that he put the 20 pounds of muscle back on, and even a little bit more? He's been working with our quarterback in the off season. He's been working with a trainer the entire time since the day after the Super Bowl, apparently, I read. And he's been working on route running. The guy's been working his tail off. Don't you want to see? Maybe you forgot his potential. Maybe you forgot his numbers of what a freakish athlete he is. It cost us nothing for him to come into camp and see what he's got. The worst case scenario is he doesn't win a spot on the roster, or he goes back, or he goes to the practice squad, or he gets traded for a late round pick, or whatever magical JD can work out. That's the worst case scenario, right? Sometimes things go right too. Sometimes things take a good turn for the better. What if he comes in and maybe he's not a number one receiver or number two receiver? He's not knocking anybody out of their starting job. But what if he has a great camp? What if he showed tremendous improvement? He's running the routes correctly. He catches everything that's thrown to him in camp. He's looking strong, bowling people over, because we know before all this happened, Mims is that kind of player. He doesn't go down on first contact. He fights for every yard. What if he's a fighter? What if he comes in and he's this great little spark plug? What if he's this great backup now? If Corey Davis gets hurt, we do have somebody who can come in and play, that we can trust to catch the ball and run the routes he's supposed to run. Can't we at least let him prove that? Can't we at least let him show what he's got after working this offseason like he's never worked in his life? Hopefully he stays healthy and has the opportunity to have a full camp that's starting on Monday. Like, he's going to start coming, like he's going to be the first one there as early as you're supposed to report, taking part in the program, showing, the exact physical condition that he's in. He's going to be doing everything right. I promise you, this guy did not go the day after the Super Bowl and start working for next season because he's just giving up. He's not just waving the white flag and going gently into this good night, if I'm allowed to add some poetry to my commentary. He's working his tail off. He's doing everything he didn't do last year. Now, on the other side, does that mean we go into the draft and say we don't need to take a wide receiver? No, I didn't say that. Does that mean we need to say we have 4 solid parts of our roster at wide receiver right now? We have Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Braxton Berrios, and Denzel Mims. And we're set at 4 spots, and we only need 1 guy, and we know that's true. No. I am not saying that Denzel Mims does not have to come into camp and earn his spot. He does. And I'm not saying we should count on it and check it off as we got a solid number 3 behind Elijah Moore and Corey Davis that can come in and play X or Y or Z or whatever you need them to play. No, we don't know that yet. But there's no reason to say that we definitely don't. What you do is you go ahead and you draft a wide receiver with the first 4 picks, or someone that you love that's high on your board. And if you could read the boards that they're going to be there at 69 or whatever, fine. But get a guy you believe in and know that your scouts, that you're all confident as an organization, is going to come in and be what we need. Okay, the organization knows if they see Elijah Moore as a WR1. They see it. They know. They're there in the practices every day. They have more experience about the level of development that's typical in a player, especially one that works hard. They make those calls and those judgments. Does that mean we don't want to take a wide receiver out of the draft that could have the potential to be a WR1? Of course not. We want them to be as good as they could be. The bigger star, the better. With the pick that they need to do it with, what they believe, it has to be timed when it's the best player on the board and it's the best decision to make for the organization. So does that mean I think they're not taking a wide receiver at 10? I didn't say that. There just has to be a receiver that warrants the 10th pick based on their evaluations, not ours. As much as I would love for them to take Jameson Williams and be okay with Garrett Wilson, as much as Dom C, my partner on Sunday nights, my co-host, would love for them to take Drake London, any of those picks are fine if that's that's on their board, if that's what they value. But they shouldn't reach. If they have those guys valued at 18 to 26 in the draft, they need, if there's a good trade partner, they trade down. And if there's not a good trade partner, then they don't go wide receiver. They simply look at another position of need. What does the board look like? What are their trade offers? And you make the best decision. So we don't know what they're going to do at wide receiver. We don't know when they're going to select a wide receiver. Everything is just opinion, rumors. I mean, you see what the rumors people will attach, like when you dig behind the rumor, right? When you find out why the original person who said it. Oh, well, the reason I sent that rumor of Drake London is going to be the number 4 pick for the Jets possibly is because his cousin has a friend whose cousin is really good friends with Elijah Moore. So I figure they're going to want to get those two together because they have this relationship and connection, and they're going to be great together. So they're going to take him at 4, right? They have some nonsense reason that they just made an assumption. I mean, there's more obvious than that, right? There's, of course, the Jets are going for DK Metcalf because he's friends with Elijah Moore. That's your reasoning. That's why you created an entire link and to an article and wrote an article saying that DK Metcalf is going to be a Jet because he's friends with somebody on the team. You see, we don't know any of that. We're just going to hope for the best when the draft comes in. It's coming soon. It's less than 2 weeks. It's 10, 11 days. We're getting there. Denzel Mims, how do you treat him? Well, you just treat him as a potential help to the team, but has to come in and win the job and prove it. So there's nothing attached to him anymore where he comes in as untouchable and we just use a good draft pick and he has this much time and you can't just throw him away. He comes in as a man who needs to earn his keep. He's going to come in, and if he contributes, I don't know. People act like you'll be mad if he contributes. Because would you rather be right or would you rather the Jets be good? So if you're someone who claims that Denzel Mims is finished, he's toast, stick a fork in him, he can't do it anymore. Do you really want to be right about that? I understand you're pissed, whatever, you're mad at him. You're so angry, you were at the game, and he dropped the ball in the end zone, ruined the game for you. Whatever it is. Do you want to be wrong at least? Because when I say I have concerns about Drake London, by the way, I never said I don't like him. I have concerns about Drake London. If we pick him at 10, even if I was screaming, pick Williams, I don't care how much trash I'm going to have to take, how much garbage I'm going to have to eat. I'm still going to root for Drake London if that's who the Jets took to be the best wide receiver out of the class. Of course, I'm a Jets fan. Look. Well, that's a bad one because it's house divided. But I'm on the Jets side of that division. Okay? And I know you can only see the Falcons part of this banner, but you see the Jets are on the other side. They're there. Can't help the way the banner was made. Shows the Atlanta side, but that was sent to me from England. I'm a Jets fan. Believe it. Look, I got duct tape holding that thing up. All right, until I find a better solution. But come on. It's like you can't root for your pride over the team. We have opinions. We have opinions of what would be better for the team and what wouldn't be better for the team. Opinions, hopes, dreams. After JD makes the picks, those guys are Jets. And whether you thought they're going to be good or you thought they're going to stink and be bust, it doesn't matter. Because you're going to root for them hard if you're a Jets fan. Just like you're going to root for MIMS. It's like he'll come into the game and drop a pass or not be open, and the first thing you'll say is, I told you, he sucks, cut him, trade him. No. Root for him. Or worse, he makes a catch for 8 yards, 9 yards, good catch, fights for some yardage, and you sit there and you say, one catch doesn't mean anything. Do you have to ruin everything for yourself? You're really going to do that? You're going to ruin that for yourself? Instead of, all right, maybe this guy's coming back. Prove me wrong. Help my team win and prove me wrong. I want to be wrong. That's what you should be screaming. Good job fighting for those 8 or 9 yards. Maybe you are someone that we can count on to help us. Root for him because you're a Jets fan. It's nonsense of hatred towards people. They're human beings. Things happen in your life. The funny thing is any of us perfect, or any of us our best, making our best choices and being our best selves at all times? When you could live up to that, then you have the right to expect others. I'm so tired of, well, they get paid millions of dollars. What? That's your excuse, right? Who's making excuses now? Because you're not being paid millions of dollars, you're not going to be your best self? Come on. That's ridiculous. People are people. They're humans. The young guy believed in himself a little too strongly, thought he could just walk into camp and get ready like everybody else. Strutted in there, didn't know what he was getting himself into. Welcome to the West Coast offense, son. Welcome to high expectations. Welcome to competition. Welcome to earning your keep. Now let's see how he responds. This is the response. This camp is the response to that challenge by his coaches. He's either going to let them down, let everybody down, and not respond. He's either going to respond, give it his all, but for some reason, it's just not there. But he can walk away with his head held up high, knowing he gave everything he had. Or he could come in, work hard, succeed, and put the pieces of his career back together and get back on the right track and be a contributor on this team. Those are the scenarios. Those are the possible outcomes. Which one are you rooting for? Which one are you hoping for? Do you have something personally against him? Are you rooting for another human being to fail? Another thing I was wondering is, why is everybody who is so hyped on Braxton Berrios and so excited, a lot of people saying we should pay him the $9 million, at the same time so down on him? Why are people saying he's just a gadget receiver and that he can't be a slot receiver? I don't understand that. How do we know he's not going to now come in and take more steps forward and be a legitimate slot receiver and be a really good one? I mean, we're Jet fans. We watched Wayne Chrebet go from 13th on the depth chart, if you're old enough. We watched him go to getting a roster spot, being the number 4 receiver, the number 3 receiver, the number 2. We watched him grow and get better and better and become one of the best receivers in the team's history, production-wise. So why are we so against the idea that Berrios might be a good slot receiver? He did everything he was asked to do. I'm not saying we shouldn't draft, if they're in the draft, a receiver that's good in the slot, shouldn't take those snaps. I'm not saying that if there's an opportunity to bring in better talent that they should, or somebody to share the load, that's fine, or and have more depth in the position. I don't argue any of that, but I don't understand why we do that as fans. It's like we get him once we got him for $6 million. Everyone said, "Oh, he's a WR4. He's like a backup guy, gadget guy." But if we would have paid him $9 million, if we would have met that demand, you're going to pay $9 million now for a receiver that's just a gadget guy, that's not even a legitimate starting slot receiver. So I have him penciled in right now as our starting slot receiver. That's what I have. That's my expectation. He's going to come in and he's going to handle that job. Now, if he's faulting, somebody might take snaps from him, and that's fine if he's not doing his job. But, there's no evidence of that, or evidence that we should be worried about that, because everything he's been asked to do, he's done. I remember 2 years ago, he was getting hate. People were like, "Why is Berrios on the field? He's awful. He's this, he's that." They never understood it. I said, I see a guy working his butt off to be good, and why aren't we rooting for him and hoping he's, succeeds and helps our team become better? And last year was a nice example of that. It was a nice example of a guy coming that nobody thought anything of and doing what he can do and showing that he can contribute. He can be an important part of a team. Makes me think of MIMS again, because isn't that what he's doing? Isn't that what he's going to attempt to do? To show that he, now going into his third year, is now learns how to be a professional, an NFL receiver, and come in and make his mark. He didn't lose any of the physical ability. He didn't lose his height. He didn't lose his speed. He didn't lose his vertical ability. Nothing. It's all inside of him. Everything we saw him do in college. If you never watched MIMS in college, right? MIMS in college in YouTube, and take a look at it. He was pretty darn good. Man, I would love to be right about him. I mean, my take has always been, you let him come to camp and you let the chips fall where they fall. You run camp like he's any other guy. Forget about the second round pick thing. Forget about the free MIMS thing. Forget about who he was supposed to be. He's just another body in camp, trying out for a roster spot. And you watch his performance in practices, on the field, though, however you run the competition for anyone else. And if he's standing out, he's like, look at that guy. He's faster than everyone. Look, he's making great catches. Look, he's running the correct routes. If he comes in and he does that and wins a spot, great. Then how would you treat him? If you didn't know, if he had a different name than MIMS, what does it take for him to get on the field? What does he have to do? Just hold him to the standards you'd hold anybody else. Look at that. I tried to get onto Berrios, but I couldn't. I got pulled back to MIMS. It's a fascinating story. People are willing to give up so soon. This is not like the Stephen Hill thing. This is not like he comes in and show. He had a rookie year where he showed and backed up in many occasions during that season the reason we made a big deal out of getting him when we got him in the second round. It doesn't like disappear. There's talent there. There's ability there. He showed it in the NFL with the worst freaking coach in the planet. And he showed it. He showed that he could play this game and be good at it. That was just a rookie. Now he's going to come back. He's been through it all. He's had success. He's had failure. He's working hard. I don't want to make predictions, but I think he's going to be good. I do. I think he's going to be good. I think we're all going to be really happy that we have him on the team. Of course, everybody that said all the horrible things about what we should do with him will magically disappear, like as if they never existed. I wonder if it's going to get to a point, probably not with MIMS, maybe with Zach Wilson, where people will actually delete their social media accounts and have to start over because no one's going to let them live down things that they've said with impulse, by rushing judgment. I wonder if that's going to happen. I think it's too late for me. I don't think I can magically come out, with a new channel, erase everything I did and come out and have you guys not know, like start over again. And because I'm on camera, so it's gonna be hard. Like imagine I just came in a year from now pretending I'm not Jeremy, to start change the voice a little bit. Hello, welcome to Sports Review by Bald Guy. Why are people in the chat calling me Jeremy? My name's not Jeremy. I'm Bald Guy. And a sports review. I don't know what you're talking about. That's not me. You have me mistaken for somebody. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like I have to live with everything I say. Okay. And I know there are those of you out there that will pull pieces of tape of me saying things next year. Like you'll pull it out and say, Jeremy, go 15 minutes into your episode 4 of Wacky Wednesday with Adam. And it says right there that you absolutely loved Christian Watson. And let's say Christian Watson is a total bust, who's just an awful pick for somebody. It's all going to get thrown back in my face. So there's no hiding from it. But I wonder how many people on Twitter that haven't showed their face will change their username and their accounts because DENZEL MIMS or some other player, maybe Mekhi Becton, makes you eat dirt. We'll see. Anyway, my point above all points is we are Jets fans. And the moment somebody makes our 53, we are their fan. We root for them to do well. We root for them to succeed because they're wearing our uniform. And anyone that wears the Jet uniform gets our support and our best wishes to play well. It doesn't mean we don't make fun of them or aren't angry at them or frustrated with them, because there are some players that do that. But when they come back onto the field, we still root for them. We don't hope they do bad so we can say, see, we don't do that. Thank you, Jets Nation. Thanks for watching. Make sure you watch my Wednesday show, Wacky Wednesday, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern, or my Friday Hangout show, 10 o'clock Friday Eastern, or my weekly Sunday show, 10 o'clock weekly Eastern. Am I saying that right? My Sunday show is a player analysis, in-depth player analysis. My Friday is more relaxed, chat questions, things like that. Well, although we always talk and interact with our chat, but Friday is more laid back. We can jump around more. And Wednesdays is our Wacky Wednesday show where we try to get the best guests to you, bring different people to you, introduce more people in the Jets community, and we talk Jets and we go over local news, like the recent news and the recent reactions to what's going on in Jets world. Have a great week as we go deeper into spring and hopefully head towards a nice, not too hot summer.